Captain Zethrak of the Kryn warship Eternal Glory had been patrolling the outer reaches for 17 standard cycles. In all that time, the most exciting thing he'd encountered was a malfunctioning cargo hauler and a minor dispute between mining operations. The outer reaches were empty, quiet, and profoundly boring, which is exactly why junior captains were assigned here. "Captain," his sensor officer called out, breaking Zethrak from his contemplation of another uneventful shift. "I'm detecting an anomaly, unidentified vessel approaching our position." Zethrak felt his secondary hearts accelerate slightly. Finally, something interesting. "Classification? Unable to determine, sir. The design doesn't match any known configuration in our database. It's strange, primitive construction by galactic standards, but the energy signature suggests operational FTL capability. Hail them." The communications officer worked for a moment, then looked up in confusion. "Sir, they're broadcasting on multiple frequencies simultaneously, including several we haven't used in centuries. They seem to be cycling through every possible communication protocol." "Someone trying to make first contact?" Zethrak mused. "Or someone very lost. Open a channel on standard galactic frequency." The view screen flickered to life, and Zethrak found himself staring at something he'd never seen before. The creature on the screen was bipedal, covered in fabric rather than scales or chitin, with soft-looking skin and forward-facing eyes. It had hair, actual hair, like a primitive mammal on its head, and appeared to be smiling, though Zethrak wasn't sure if that expression indicated aggression or friendliness among its species. "Hello?" the creature said in heavily accented but understandable galactic standard. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel Prometheus. We're peaceful explorers from the Sol system. We're hoping to make first contact with galactic civilization." Zethrak's brain stalled for a moment. "Earth, Sol system, I'm not familiar with." Then the name registered. Earth, Sol, the ancient words from old stories, legends told to juvenile Kryn about mythical creatures from impossible distances. "Did you say Earth?" Zethrak asked carefully. "Yes, planet Earth, third planet from our sun, which we call Sol. We've been picking up galactic broadcasts for about 50 years now, and we've finally developed FTL capabilities sophisticated enough to reach out. We're really excited to—" "You're human," Zethrak interrupted, his voice barely above a whisper. Captain Chen's expression shifted to surprise. "You know about humans? I thought we were unknown out here." "You're from the stories," Zethrak said, still struggling to process. "The ancient legends, the Death Worlders from beyond the edge. The species that evolved on an impossibly hostile planet in an impossibly remote location. Humans. I mean, we prefer explorers to Death Worlders, but yes, that's us." Chen's smile widened. "I didn't realize we had a reputation already." Zethrak looked at his crew, all of whom were staring at the view screen with expressions ranging from disbelief to terror. His tactical officer was actually backing away from his station. "Captain Chen," Zethrak said carefully, "I need to ask you a question. In your culture, what does showing your teeth like that mean?" Chen looked confused. "Showing my teeth? Oh, you mean smiling? It's friendly. It means I'm happy to meet you." Several crew members visibly relaxed, though Zethrak noticed his tactical officer was still pale. "Captain, forgive my directness, but we need to confirm something. The legends say that humans evolved on a planet with gravity significantly above galactic standard, with predators competing at multiple trophic levels. extreme weather variations and atmospheric conditions hostile to most known species. Is this accurate? Chen considered this. Well, Earth's gravity is about 1.4 times what we've measured as the galactic average based on the broadcasts we've intercepted. And yes, we have quite a few predators. Extreme weather is relative, but we've got storms, temperature variations, and all that. Our atmosphere is breathable for us, but probably toxic to a lot of species. So, yes, that's accurate. Zethrak felt his respiratory systems working overtime. The humans were real. After millennia of being dismissed as mythology, cautionary tales told to children about monsters from the dark between stars, they were real. Captain Chen, I'm going to need to report this to Galactic Command. This is significantly beyond my authority level. Would you be willing to wait while I make contact with my superiors? Absolutely, Chen replied enthusiastically. We've been waiting 50 years to talk to someone out here. We can wait a few more hours. 3 hours later, Zethrak's ship was surrounded by 17 galactic vessels, including 2 capital ships and a diplomatic cruiser. The entire situation had escalated so rapidly that Zethrak was honestly impressed by the bureaucratic efficiency which was normally lacking in galactic command. High Ambassador Velthar of the Galactic Council appeared on Zethrak's view screen looking harried. Captain Zethrak, I need you to confirm, is that vessel actually from Earth, from Sol? Are they actually human? Yes, Ambassador. They match all the legendary descriptions. They've confirmed their planet of origin, and their physiology is consistent with high-gravity death world evolution. They're human. By the ancient stars, Velthar breathed. In 3,000 years of galactic history, we dismissed them as mythology, ancient legends from before we had reliable record-keeping, and they're real. They seem friendly, Ambassador. Captain Chen has been very cooperative. Friendly now? Interjected Military Commander Threxal, appearing on a split screen. But do you understand what their existence means? The legends say humans are pursuit predators, that they evolved by chasing prey until it collapsed from exhaustion, that they have endurance that exceeds any known species, that their planet was so hostile that they developed psychological resilience that borders on insanity. With respect, Commander, Zethrak said, Captain Chen seems very sane, pleasant even. That's what makes them dangerous, Threxal replied. They don't look dangerous. The legends say that was part of their hunting strategy, appear harmless until you're close enough that escape is impossible. I think you're overreacting, Zethrak began, but was interrupted by his sensor officer. Captain, the human vessel is moving. Red alert, Threxal shouted. All ships defensive positions. Wait, Zethrak checked his own sensors. They're not attacking, they're moving toward a damaged civilian freighter. How did they even detect that? It's 3 light minutes away. On the view screen, Captain Chen appeared again. Hey, sorry for the sudden movement. We detected a distress signal from a damaged ship. We're moving to assist. Basic space-faring courtesy, right? Is that okay protocol here? We're still learning galactic customs. You detected a distress signal at 3 light minutes, Zethrak asked in disbelief. Our sensors barely register it at this distance. Really? Huh. Our sensor tech is pretty basic by what we've seen in your broadcasts, but we built them to work in our system, which has a lot of interference from our sun. Maybe they're just more sensitive, Chen shrugged. Anyway, this ship looks like it's in trouble. We're going to help. You're welcome to observe. The assembled galactic fleet watched in amazement as the human vessel, primitive by their standards, held together with welds that looked barely functional, approached the damaged freighter with a precision that would have impressed veteran pilots. "The freighter is a Quelix cargo hauler," reported the sensor officer aboard Velthar's ship. "It suffered a reactor breach. The crew evacuated to emergency shelters, but life support is failing. They have approximately 2 hours before the atmosphere becomes unbreathable." "Our repair teams can be there in 90 minutes, Threxel said. "The humans are already there," Zethrak replied, watching his sensors in disbelief. On the view screen, Captain Chen was coordinating with her crew in rapid-fire human language before switching back to galactic standard. "Okay, we've assessed the situation. The reactor breach is containable, but the life support system has physical damage. We're sending over a repair team." "Captain Chen, with all respect, do your people have the technical expertise to?" Velthar began. "To fix a ship that's more advanced than ours," Chen finished with a grin. "Not normally, no, but humans are really good at improvising. Plus, we've been studying your broadcasts for 5 decades. We've got a pretty good theoretical understanding of galactic tech. Let's see if we can make theory into practice." 40 minutes later, the human repair team had not only contained the reactor breach, but had jerry-rigged the life support system using parts from their own ship and, improbably, some kind of adhesive substance they called duct tape. "Life support restored," Chen reported cheerfully. "It's not pretty, and you'll want to replace our patches with proper components as soon as possible, but it'll hold until your repair teams arrive. The Quelix crew is safe." The Quelix captain appeared on the communication channel, his expression showing both gratitude and bewilderment. Thank you, but how did you repair systems you've never encountered before? Honestly, we just applied basic engineering principles and refused to accept that it couldn't be done," Chen replied. "That's kind of humanity's thing. We're not as advanced as you guys, but we're really stubborn about solving problems." Ambassador Velthar made a decision. "Captain Chen, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I formally welcome humanity to the galactic community. We would like to invite you to accompany us to Zentaris Prime, the Council's capital, to begin formal diplomatic relations." "That would be amazing." Chen's enthusiasm was palpable. "We'd be honored. Though, I should mention, the Prometheus is an exploratory vessel. Earth is going to want to send proper diplomatic representatives once we tell them we've made contact." "How long will that communication take?" Velthar asked. "Well, we're about 200 light-years from Earth, and we don't have FTL communication technology yet. That's next on our development list. So the message will take about 3 weeks to reach Earth through our relay network, and then another 6 weeks for a diplomatic ship to reach this location. Call it 2 months." "2 months," Velthar repeated. "You're operating 200 light-years from your homeworld with no FTL communication." "Is that unusual?" Chen asked. "Extraordinarily," Velthar replied. "Most species don't venture more than 10 light-years from their homeworld until they develop FTL communication. The isolation is considered psychologically unbearable." Humans have been doing long-duration isolation missions since we first went to space. Our early astronauts spent months in tin cans with no real-time communication with Earth. I guess we just got used to it." Chen seemed genuinely puzzled by the concept that this was unusual. "The legends mention this," Threxel said quietly. That humans have psychological endurance that other species lack, that they can withstand isolation, stress, and uncertainty that would break most civilized species. Over the next 2 weeks, as the Prometheus traveled with the galactic fleet toward Centaurus Prime, the galaxy began to realize that the legends of humanity, while exaggerated in some ways, were frighteningly accurate in others. When a Sindari crew member fell ill with a mysterious ailment, the human doctor diagnosed it within hours. "Oh, that's similar to a condition we call sepsis. The biochemistry is different, but the progression is analogous. Here's what we'd try: adjust the antibiotics for Sindari physiology." When a training exercise went wrong and several Kryn soldiers were trapped in a collapsed structure, the human crew volunteered to help with rescue operations. They worked for 18 hours straight without rest, lifting debris that should have required mechanical assistance, squeezing through gaps that seemed impossibly small, and refusing to stop until everyone was safe. "Don't humans need to rest?" a medic asked in amazement. "We do, but not yet," replied Lieutenant James Morrison, the human leading the rescue effort. His skin was covered in sweat, a cooling mechanism that fascinated the galactic medics, but his expression was determined. "People are in danger. We'll rest when they're safe." When a diplomatic dispute between two minor species threatened to escalate, Captain Chen somehow managed to mediate a solution by getting both parties to explain their grievances over what she called coffee, a human beverage that seemed to have mild stimulant properties. The solutions she proposed were creative, practical, and completely outside traditional galactic diplomatic frameworks. "You're very good at this," Ambassador Velthar observed. "Humans have spent our entire history resolving conflicts," Chen explained. "We've tried war, diplomacy, trade, cultural exchange, and pretty much every other approach. We've gotten pretty good at finding common ground because we had to. Our planet is too small for all our nations to avoid each other." "Your planet has multiple nations?" Velthar asked in surprise. "Still, most species unify politically before reaching space." "Oh, we've got about 200 sovereign nations, give or take, plus various international organizations that coordinate on global issues. It's complicated, but it works for us." The galactic representatives exchanged glances. Humans maintained separate political entities even after achieving space flight. That should have made them too divided to be effective. Yet somehow, they developed FTL technology, crossed 200 light years, and were demonstrating capabilities that rivaled or exceeded much older galactic species. When the Prometheus finally reached Centaurus Prime, half the Galactic Council was waiting. What was supposed to be a routine first contact had become the most anticipated event in recent galactic history. Captain Chen stood before the assembled council, looking remarkably calm for someone representing an entire species to a gathering of civilizations that had been traveling the stars for millennia. "Honorable council members," she began, "I want to thank you for this warm welcome. Humanity has been dreaming of this moment for centuries, since we first looked up at the stars and wondered who else might be out there. We're excited to learn from you, to share with you, and to become part of the galactic community." High Arbiter Kelnoth, the Council's leader, spoke formally. "Captain Chen, humanity's arrival has been unexpected. For 3,000 years, we dismissed stories of your species as mythology, ancient legends without basis in fact. We believed Earth and Sol to be either fictional or lost to time. Yet here you stand. How long has humanity been spacefaring? We've had spaceflight capability for about 250 years, Chen replied. FTL for about 15 years, though our drives are pretty primitive compared to yours. We only reached beyond our local stellar neighborhood in the last 5 years. Primitive technology, remote location, no guidance from established civilizations, Kelnoth mused. Yet you achieved FTL capability and crossed vast distances to reach us. The legends spoke of human determination, of a refusal to accept limitations. It seems that part was accurate. We prefer to think of it as curiosity and stubbornness, Chen said with a smile. When we detected your broadcasts, we knew we weren't alone, and once we knew that, we could not reach out. Humans are explorers by nature, always have been. And what does humanity want from the galactic community? I asked Counselor Vexthar. Chen's answer was immediate. Knowledge, friendship, and a chance to contribute. We know we're newcomers. We know our technology is primitive by your standards. But we've got 10,000 years of human history, culture, art, science, and experience to share. We've solved problems you might never have encountered. We've made mistakes you can learn from. And we're really, really good at adapting to new situations. She gestured to the view screen behind her, showing images from Earth, diverse landscapes, teeming cities, human achievements and failures. We come from a world that tried to kill us every day. We evolved alongside predators that hunted us, diseases that decimated us, weather that threatened us and each other. We survived by being adaptable, creative, and stubborn. We learned to cooperate despite our differences. We learned to thrive in conditions that would kill most species. And now we'd like to bring those lessons to the galaxy. Not to conquer or dominate, we've learned where that leads on our own world, but to contribute, to help, to be good neighbors in a very large and amazing neighborhood. The council chamber was silent for a long moment. Then High Arbiter Kelnoth spoke, his voice resonating with formality and something that might have been respect. Captain Chen, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I formally recognize humanity as a sapient species and Earth as a sovereign world. I invite Earth to join the galactic community as a member species. We look forward to learning what humanity will teach us and what you will learn from us. Chen's smile was radiant. We accept with gratitude and excitement, and I promise you won't regret meeting us. Humans are loyal friends, creative problem solvers, and we always keep our word. You thought we were a myth until our ship appeared. Now you'll discover what happens when mythology becomes reality. As the formal ceremonies continued, Ambassador Velthar turned to Military Commander Threxel. What do you think of them? The legendary humans? Threxel watched Captain Chen interact with council members, her enthusiasm infectious, her competence evident. I think the legends were wrong about one thing. They made humans sound like monsters from the darkness. Dangerous predators to be feared. And they're not monsters, Threxel said quietly. They're something much more interesting and potentially much more valuable. They're survivors who became explorers, predators who learned compassion, warriors who chose peace. The galaxy hasn't seen anything like them before. Is that good or bad? Velthar asked. Threxel watched as Chen somehow convinced a notoriously stern Kryn admiral to laugh at something she'd said. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. The galaxy thought humans were a myth. Now we get to discover what they really are. And what's that? Something new, Threxel replied. something the galaxy has been waiting for without knowing it, a species that combines everything that should be contradictory, primitive and advanced, peaceful and dangerous, ancient and young. They're going to change everything. And as Earth's diplomatic mission arrived 2 months later, followed by trade delegations, cultural exchanges, and scientific collaborations, the galaxy discovered that Threxel was right. Humanity wasn't a myth anymore. They were the future.